Hey everybody, welcome back to another Jackson Jet Setting cruise ship tour. Today we're on board the MSC Divina. It's my first time on board an MSC cruise ship, so I was excited to check everything out and see how different it is of an experience compared to my cruising on Royal Caribbean and Carnival, among other cruise lines. We're going to check out everything from top to bottom. It's a little bit of a confusing layout of a ship, but we're going to start on the very top of the ship. The top deck is 18 on board the MSC Divina, so we're going to walk up the stairs here. This is called the Top 18 Solarium. So this is actually an extra charge area. So if you want to get away from the crowds a little bit, this is a good spot to relax. But this is located on the very top of the ship. The only other part of this deck that unfortunately I was not able to access is a part of the MSC Yacht Club. So that's going to be the top tier kind of suites area on board the ship. So they have their own whirlpool. We'll check out, at least from the outside, what that looks like. But at least this area does have its own whirlpool, and it's got great views of the pool deck and of course the ocean around. All of the decks on board the Divina naturally are Italian names for Roman gods. So this is the Helios deck. It was fun to look up all the different names and see what they translated into of the gods that I knew. But here is a look at the MSC Yacht Club's own private deck in the forward part of the ship. So this is all part of deck 18. As you can see, it's got great views. Next, we'll head down to deck 16. There's no deck 17 on board the MSC Divina. And this has the ship's water slide. This is called the Teens Tobogga, and it's actually boarded from deck 15. And you'll walk up through deck 16 to get to the top of the slide there. Otherwise, on deck 16, we got the ship's nightclub, as well as the specialty restaurant, which is the sushi bar, as well as the virtual world and F1 simulator. So those are extra charge attractions on board. We're going to walk through the ship's arcade, one of two. There's one near the casino as well. So this area is pretty close to some of the teen clubs. You can see the cool graffiti staircase right there that leads up from the teen club. But if you turn to the left here, when it's open, it's actually going to be a full-scale F1 simulator, which I thought was pretty cool. Very European. This is a European brand after all. So this runs about $16, I think, for 2 laps around the track. Didn't have a chance to try it, but I did have a chance to try the 4D theater. They had a bunch of different movies that I got to choose from and basically got jostled around for a couple minutes. Pretty good 3D and a fun little adventure, something unique that I haven't seen on a cruise ship before, so it was fun to try that out. Here's the rest of the arcade as we make our way back out. Gotta say, I was only on board for 2 nights, but it was a very confusing ship to figure my way around. There's lots of dead ends. Some elevators don't go up to every deck. So it was fun making this video, not as organized, I would say, as my other ship tour videos, only because the ship itself is just all over the place. They pack a lot of stuff in. That's the good news. So now we're making our way into the nightclub. So this is the Galaxy Lounge as well as sushi bar. So this is going to be a sushi restaurant some parts of the evening, and then they'll close that part down and turn it into the rest of the nightclub. So a nice little dance floor here on the top of the ship. Love it when the cruise ships keep the nightclub at the top of the ship with really fun views. It's cool to see the lights going on even if you're not having fun in the nightclub itself. You can see it from the pool decks. So a really cool little feel in here, and as you can see, a really big dance floor. And this will lead us out to the ship's library slash conference room, lecture room, that sort of thing. You actually have to pass through it to get outside. There's no way to avoid it. And now's a good time to mention that if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so, especially if you love cruise content, if you love resort tours, just love travel in general. I post lots of things all across the travel spectrum. I travel the world making these videos for everyone on YouTube, and I'm really enjoying myself, so thanks a lot for the follow and the like on this video. So now we'll continue our tour of deck 16 outside, because there is a little outside portion here with a few more recreational activities on the top decks here, like many cruise ships have. We're going to pass underneath the ship's funnel and logo to find the ship's sports court, which actually has a stadium seating aspect to it, which is pretty cool. Not something I've seen on any other ship. Right past that is a whirlpool. There are a lot of whirlpools on board the MSC Divina, which is a great change of pace compared to, say, the Disney Wish, which has one public hot tub for that entire ship. If you want to see a ship tour of the Disney Wish as well as a bunch of other cruise ships, I do have a playlist up with all of my ship tours on the channel. Another whirlpool over here to the left as we make our way back around the sports court. Right next to that, it appeared that there was a European style of deck shuffleboard, which was cool. Seemed to have a little bit of a different scoring than the American, or I guess maybe English version. Not sure who invented shuffleboard, but cool to see some different options on this cruise ship because it is made, at least originally, for a different audience. Now let's head down to deck 15 on the MSC Divina. So deck 15 is named the Mercurio deck, aka Mercury, the messenger god. This deck has a lot more public spaces outdoors, so we'll check out what there is to do around here. Now this is more of the sun deck in the aft part of deck 15. And the inside portion is actually Muse, which is the yacht club's private dining room on board the MSC Divina. Over here you also have the garden pool, which is nice. A lot of different pools on board. I counted at least 3, plus the private pool for the yacht club members. So for a relatively small ship, there are a lot of swimming options. So there is a bar back here. It's Disaronno sponsored, so that's kind of cool. It's a very European aperitif or digestif, and so they've themed the bar that way. So you're never too far away from a alcoholic beverage. MSC does offer drinks packages, and they're pretty reasonable compared to some of the other cruise lines that are sailing for American audiences. Making our way up towards the forward part of the MSC Divina on deck 15, we do see the outside section of the Kids Club. This is called Doremi Land, and so it's cool that the kids have a couple seesaws and play areas outside of that Kids Club dedicated just for them. And to the right there is the inside portion of the Kids Club. I'll show you that in just a sec. So inside here is the Junior Club. And the cool thing is MSC has partnered with Lego, which is a Danish toy company. So European. And so they have a lot of Lego themed excursions and things to do on board in the Junior Club. On this side of the deck has Graffiti's Disco, so that's going to be the teen club. That was never really open for me to go explore, so I can't show you that, unfortunately. But we'll continue our tour on deck 15 here, head outside. So deck 15 being a very large sun deck, going to have a lot of chairs out when it's not so stormy like it was when I was shooting this video. We're just putting out the chairs for the day. But here's the first look at the pool. I will say the pool was also under construction while I was on board this 2-day cruise. So the whole first day, the main pool was closed, which was a little bit of a bummer. But I do like the look of the pool deck in general. It felt very upscale. MSC is a very cheap cruise line to get on board, but I did think that this ship was in really tip-top shape and just a very high quality offering for the price. Couple of whirlpools here on deck as well. So that's all deck 14 technically, but you can get the bird's eye view here before we walk through deck 14 a little later. Two more whirlpools on this deck. I'm telling you, there are a lot of hot tubs on board the MSC Divina. That is awesome to see. I love the stonework there. It just feels like, you know, they spent some time trying to theme this boat. And we'll head inside deck 15 here to the top level of Le Serene. Give you a bird's eye view of that. More whirlpools, 3 of them in here. This is the covered pool for the ship. So no matter what the weather, you can still take a dip in the pool, which is great. And then the forward part of this deck is actually closed off to regular guests because this is another part of the MSC Yacht Club. So they're going to have a library, your concierge desk, as well as the top sail lounge. So a really nice lounge with great views out the forward part of the ship. So if you are looking to spend a little bit more on your MSC cruise, I do recommend the Yacht Club because you have a lot of the ship that's dedicated just for you. Now, I haven't sailed Yacht Club before, but I have heard that if you are looking for a premium experience at sea, Yacht Club on MSC can be very well priced compared to other options on other brands, so it might be worth taking a look. And just a quick pitch, I do book travel and cruises for folks with my bespoke boutique travel agency, so you can reach out to me with the email that is located on my profile on YouTube. We're going to continue and double back out Le Serene here, go check out the rest of deck 15, and then head up really quickly back up to deck 16 for a little part of that deck that has a nice little sun deck for folks. Now, it's not a cruise ship without a ping pong table, and this is where you'll find it. You'll also find some foosball in this section of Le Serene. And we'll head up really quickly and just check out deck 16's small little sun deck in the forward part of the ship. Now let's check out deck 15, which is the main pool deck on board the MSC Divina. They have a nice poolside television screen playing sports, music videos, that sort of thing throughout the day. You also have your self-serve ice cream stand right here on the deck. That is all included in your cruise fare on board MSC. And here's the bottom main level of Le Serene. So you have a few whirlpools as well as the main pool here in this section. Then you do have a small shop with swimwear, That's appropriately called the pool shop. And if you continue heading forward, you'll find the ship's spa, which is pretty spacious for a ship of this size too, and I felt like they had a lot of amenities, so let's tour that. So I always go and tour the spa on embarkation day. It's always open for tours. Nice folks will walk you around and show you all the cool areas that you can explore. This ship definitely has some awesome items. Europeans really like their saunas and steam rooms, so I knew that the MSC ships were going to be well outfitted with that. I was not disappointed. This area is also where the fitness center is. That's free to use, but they do sell day passes to the saunas and steam rooms. One little tip, if you have status with literally any other travel brand or sometimes like a grocery brand, MSC will match their status to that status. I walked on board with my Hyatt Globalist status after matching it to MSC's top tier diamond program. So I actually got a free hour in the thermal suite here in the spa, which is great. Great little benefit, short cruise. I was still able to use that benefit. So pretty cool thing there. So definitely take a look and see if you qualify for that before stepping on board an MSC ship. Quite a spacious gym. Of course, they offer classes for an extra charge. They have some stretching classes, I believe, that are free, and some seminars where they're trying to sell you, inserts for your shoes, etc. I generally ignore all of that noise, but they do have a nice gym. In the lobby of the spa, they do have a nice smoothie bar, so that's all going to be an extra charge. And then I was given a tour of the men's section, which has the steam rooms, the saunas, as well as a nice relaxation area. A lot of these actually have ocean views, which I really do appreciate when I walk into a spa. And there's even a yoga studio with ocean views as well. Walking back through Le Serene, the pool area enclosed here, there is a bar over to the left, and we'll make our way forward on deck 15. Have you ever sailed with MSC? Let me know in the comments. Overall, I really enjoyed my time on board. There's definitely some differences to the other brands that I usually sail, but I'm going to do a full deep dive of my review of the ship, as well as my experience on board on future videos on the channel, so stay tuned for that. Of course, this being the pool deck, there's got to be a pool bar, so here's that on this side of the ship. Moving on into the main buffet, the Calumet buffet. The buffet on board MSC is pretty fantastic, I thought. Definitely the best pizza at sea that I've had. But there are a number of different options across the spectrum of food. You have a lot of healthy options. You have some really high-end cheeses as well as cured meats like prosciutto, this being a European line. Really great breads. Really fantastic options here, and you really can't go wrong. Had breakfast here, some lunch from time to time during my short cruise, so definitely check things out. But a lot of space here, was not very hard to find a table at all. Now, all the decks below are going to be stateroom decks until deck 7, so we will skip ahead to our tour of deck 7. So deck 7 is going to be your first full deck inside for all of the public facilities on board. The black and white lounge is in the aft portion of deck 7. This is where you're going to have games at night, you're going to have some dancing going on, a lot of activities going on in here. Some weird seating, I gotta admit. But I like the look of the place. Definitely felt fresh and new. This deck does have a promenade, so if you do want to take a quick walk outdoors, you have that on this deck. And this aft stairwell here on deck 7 is the only way that you can access deck 6's dining room, which is the Villa Rossa. So I did want to show that real quick. Some ships that go on that are older do block certain decks with the galley, so that's the case on deck 6 there. So now we're back on deck 7. We're going to walk through the photo gallery heading forward on this deck. To the left here is Butcher's Cut. That's going to be the ship's other specialty restaurant. It's going to be the traditional steakhouse. I did get a chance to dine there, so look forward to my review video where I go over my whole meal in there. A lot of space here dedicated to the photo gallery, which I've seen on other ships too. It's just a lot of space that I think maybe could be a little better used, but it is what it is. It looks nice as you walk through. Here's La Cantina de Baco. Might be pronouncing that wrong, so apologize. Feel free to correct me in the comments. This is where you can actually buy pizza to take back to your room, and it is a bar in the evenings as well. And here is that main entrance to Butcher's Cut. So now we'll continue heading forward. Check out the rest of the bars and other activities on this deck. There's several high-end shops on board. This is actually the perfumery, so you can grab some perfumes, and it's located right here in the main atrium. It's a really soaring atrium here, a nice fresh look to this, very contemporary feeling. Really like the look of it. Felt nice and bright. To the right here is Cafe Italia, so this is another standard bar on board. I will note MSC has an espresso machine at pretty much every bar on board, which is absolutely excellent for people like me that are addicted to coffee. And here's the sports bar. Sports bar is pretty cool. They actually have a menu that is an extra charge in here. Lots of TV screens, lots of areas to sit. They actually have a bowling lane or two, which is pretty cool. Right outside the sports bar is the Golden Jazz Bar, hence the golden color. We are passing through the ship's art gallery, and that leads into La Luna Piano Bar. So great spot to hear live music. There's a lot of live music throughout the ship in the evenings. That kind of seemed to be the main entertainment on board, was music and then, a small theater show. Not as many activities on MSC ships as other brands, at least on my short cruise. That's how it felt. And that's going to lead us forward to the Pantheon Theater. The Pantheon, a really great look to this place, forward part of the ship like most cruise ships have. It's where your theater shows are going to be in the evenings, as well as where you'll probably meet for your excursions in the morning. So now we're heading down to deck 6. This is where the Venezia Casino is. Non-smoking, which is absolutely great. Really fresh look to this place. Didn't seem as busy as on Carnival or Royal Caribbean, which I find to be a plus. But of course, it is available for you if you want to try your luck. Just gamble responsibly. Continuing the Venetian theme, the Piazza del Doge. This is where the ship's sort of gelato, and there's a cigar bar in here. There's a number of different shops. Really nice ceiling, all very well themed. I really liked this section. Just felt very unique for a cruise ship. Nice and open too, kind of stretched all the way across the deck. Lots of seating as well, so it's kind of like a nice little indoor cafe feel to it. And here is that cigar bar. Not often that you see a cigar bar on board a cruise ship anymore. Of course, some ships still do have them, but they're not really appearing on any of the new ships. So you can always kind of tell the age of a ship when they have a dedicated cigar bar. Or, you know what, MSC is a little bit more European, so there may be more of those on their other ships. This being my first time on board, haven't had a chance to experience the other ones. But a number of different shops around here. We'll go pop in and just see what those look like as we walk by the delicious looking dessert bars, sandwich shop, and gelato stand. This part is called the Ponte di Rialto, aka the Rialto Bridge, and that leads us into the Silver Lounge. There are a number of little sections here for getting things done. You have an excursions desk, you have the next cruise desk in this area. This is in the middle deck of the main atrium here. And this leads over to the Black Crab Restaurant, which is another one of the main dining rooms included in your cruise fare. Depending on where you're assigned, you may dine in here or over at the other restaurant that we showed you earlier. Also on this deck is a small watch shop as well as a candy store for the kids. Now we're going to head down to deck 5, which has another bar. This deck is not as huge in terms of public space, but it does have guest services, which had a very long line when I walked past it earlier in the cruise. A little private area here for checking in, I believe. A little cyber cafe, a little fountain. The main atrium from the very bottom deck that you can go, which is an awesome place to have a drink or just listen to the sounds of the ship. But that about does it from the MSC Divina. I want to thank you all for making it this far in the video. If you did, let me know in the comments. We'll see you on the next one.